Captain Lisa Morgan stood on the bridge of the starship Starbound, watching the stars through the main window. She had been in space for 6 months now, leading humanity's first trip beyond their home solar system. Her crew of 200 people worked hard every day to explore new worlds and find signs of alien life. "Captain, we're getting strange readings," said Officer Kate Brown from her station. "There are ships ahead of us, big ones." Lisa felt her heart beat faster. After all these years of wondering if humans were alone in the universe, they might finally have their answer. She walked to Kate's station and looked at the screen showing bright dots moving in space. "How many ships?" Lisa asked. "At least 20, maybe more. They're much bigger than ours," Kate replied, her fingers moving quickly over the controls. Lisa took a deep breath. This was the moment everyone on Earth had dreamed about. First contact with aliens. She hoped it would go well. "Send them a peaceful message," Lisa ordered. "Tell them we come in peace and want to talk." The crew worked quickly to send radio signals toward the alien ships. They waited for what felt like hours, but was only minutes. Then the reply came. The voice that spoke was female, speaking perfect English. It was beautiful, but cold, like winter, whined through trees. "Human vessel? You are in Zephyrian space. I am Commander Lyrelei Stormwind of the Zephyrian Fleet. You will stop your ship and prepare to be boarded." Lisa looked around at her crew. They all seemed worried. This was not how they had hoped first contact would go. "Commander Stormwind," Lisa said into the radio, "we are explorers from Earth. We didn't know this was your space. We're happy to talk and learn about your people." "You will follow our ships to the nearest station," Lyrelei replied. "You will submit to our authority. This sector belongs to us. Any ships that enter without permission must be punished." Lisa felt anger rise in her chest. She had not traveled across the galaxy to bow down to aliens who thought they owned space itself. "Commander, with respect, space belongs to everyone. We have the right to explore just like any other species," Lisa said, trying to keep her voice calm. There was a long pause. When Lyrelei spoke again, her voice was even colder. "You misunderstand your position, human. You are primitives who have barely left your own star system. We have ruled this sector for thousands of years. You will obey or face the consequences." Lisa looked at her crew. Officer Dr. Amanda Clark, the ship's scientist, shook her head. Chief Engineer Mike Davis looked angry. They had all worked too hard to get here just to give up now. "We won't submit to anyone," Lisa said firmly. "We're peaceful, but we're not slaves. If you want to talk as equals, we're happy to do that. But we won't bow down to you." The alien ships moved closer. Through the window, Lisa could see them clearly now. They were beautiful, like works of art, made of silver and light. They moved smoothly through space without making any sound. Each ship was at least 3 times bigger than the Starbound. "You have made a mistake, human," Lyrelei said. "We gave you a chance to live. You have chosen differently." Suddenly, bright lights shot from the alien ships. The Starbound shook as energy beams hit their shields. Alarms rang throughout the ship as the crew ran to their battle stations. "Return fire!" Lisa shouted. "All weapons, fire now!" The human ship's weapons shot back at the aliens, but their beams seemed to bounce off the alien ships like rain off a roof. The alien ships kept firing, and each hit made the Starbound shake more. "Shields at 50%, Kate called out. "We can't take much more of this." Lisa knew they were outmatched. The alien ships were too strong, too advanced. But she would not surrender. "Get us out of here," she ordered. "Jump to hyperspace." The Starbound's engines roared to life, and the ship jumped away from the battle. They escaped, but Lisa knew this was just the beginning. The aliens had made their message clear. Humans were not welcome in space. As they flew back toward human space, Lisa received terrible news over the radio. The alien ships had attacked 2 human research stations in nearby star systems. Hundreds of people were dead, including scientists, and their families who had done nothing wrong. Dr. Amanda Clark sat in her lab, looking at the data they had collected about the alien ships. Her face was pale, and her hands shook with anger. 3 of her best friends had been working on one of the destroyed stations. "They killed them all," Amanda said quietly. "Men, women, children. They didn't care." Lisa put her hand on Amanda's shoulder. "We'll make them pay for this," she promised. When they reached Earth, the news of the attack spread quickly. People were scared and angry. The government called emergency meetings. Military leaders talked about building more ships and weapons. Within days, Earth's leaders made their decision. If the aliens wanted war, humans would give them war. Every shipyard began working day and night to build warships. Every young person who could fight was asked to join the military. Lisa was given command of a new ship, a warship called Earth's Fury. Dr. Amanda Clark joined the military as a science officer, working to understand alien technology. They both knew that the war ahead would be unlike anything humans had ever fought. The aliens had started this fight, thinking humans were weak and would give up easily. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Humans had been fighting wars for thousands of years. They knew how to be brutal when they needed to be. The peaceful exploration mission had become something much darker. The aliens wanted to see what humans were really like when pushed too far. Soon they would get their answer, and they would not like what they saw. 6 months had passed since the first attack. The war between humans and Zephyrians was now in full swing, and things looked bad for humanity. Dr. Amanda Clark worked in her lab deep inside Earth's biggest space station. The metal walls around her were covered with pictures and data about Zephyrian ships and weapons. Her eyes hurt from staring at screens for too long, but she could not stop. Every day that passed meant more human soldiers died in space battles they could not win. Amanda picked up a piece of Zephyrian metal that had been torn from an enemy ship. It was smooth and light, but stronger than anything humans could make. The aliens had been building ships for thousands of years, while humans had only been in space for a few hundred. "Still working late?" asked Captain Lisa Morgan as she walked into the lab. Lisa now wore the uniform of a military officer instead of an explorer. The war had changed everyone. "I have to find something," Amanda said without looking up. "There has to be a weakness. No technology is perfect." Lisa sat down, next to her friend. The latest battle reports came in. "We lost 12 ships near the Centauri system. The aliens only lost 2. Amanda's hands stopped moving. 12 ships meant over 3,000 people dead. Good people who had families waiting for them back on Earth. "Their shields are too strong," Amanda said quietly. "Our weapons barely scratch them, and their energy beams cut through our ships like they're made of paper." Meanwhile, in space, near the planet Zephyria Prime, Commander Lyrale Stormwind stood in the command center of her flagship. The room was beautiful, with walls that glowed softly blue and windows that showed the stars outside. Everything about Zephyrian technology was both powerful and elegant. Lyrale was tall and graceful, with long silver hair and pointed ears. Her skin had a faint glow, and her eyes were the color of deep water. She wore a uniform that looked more like art than clothing. All Zephyrians were beautiful, but Lyrale was special even among her own people. "Report," she said to her second-in-command, Artemis Moon Whisper. "The humans attacked our supply convoy near Wolf 359, Artemis replied. "They destroyed 3 transport ships before our escorts drove them away." Lyrale frowned. This was not how wars were supposed to go. In every other conflict with primitive species, the enemy had surrendered quickly once they realized they could not win. But humans kept fighting even when they lost most of their ships. "How many human ships were destroyed?" Lyrale asked. 7, Artemis said. "But they seemed happy to trade 7 ships for 3 of ours. That makes no sense. Our ships are much more valuable." Lyrale walked to the large window and looked out at the stars. Something was wrong with this war. Humans fought in ways that no civilized species would accept. They sent small ships on suicide missions. They attacked civilian targets. They used tricks and lies instead of fighting with honor. "The humans are not like other species we have conquered," Lyrale said slowly. "They fight like animals. No honor. No rules." "Should we send more ships to finish them quickly?" Artemis asked. "Yes," Lyrale decided. "The sooner we end this, the better. I do not like what this war is doing to our people." Back on Earth, the human military was planning something new. General Kate Sullivan sat in a meeting room with other military leaders. On the table in front of them were plans for attacks that would have shocked the old peacetime governments. "The aliens think we'll fight by their rules," General Sullivan said. "They're wrong. We're going to hit them where they don't expect it." "What do you mean?" asked Admiral Ray Foster. "We're going to attack their civilian colonies," Sullivan replied. "Their supply lines, their research stations, their homes. If they want a war, we'll give them a real war." Some of the officers looked uncomfortable. Attacking civilians went against everything the human military had stood for. "General, that's against the laws of war," said Colonel Betty White. "The laws of war don't apply when you're fighting for your species' survival," Sullivan said coldly. "The aliens started this. They killed our civilians first. Now we show them what humans do when we're pushed too far." Captain Lisa Morgan got her orders a week later. She was to take her ship, Earth's Fury, and attack a Zephyrian research station. The station had no military weapons and was home to alien scientists and their families. Lisa stared at the orders for a long time. This was not why she had become an explorer. She had wanted to discover new worlds and make friends with alien species. Now she was being asked to kill innocent people. But then she remembered the human research stations that had been destroyed, the families that had died for no reason except that they were human. Her anger burned hot in her chest. "All crew, prepare for battle," Lisa announced over the ship's speakers. "We have a mission." The attack on the Zephyrian research station was swift and brutal. The aliens had no defenses and no way to fight back. Earth's Fury destroyed the station completely, killing everyone inside. Lisa felt sick afterward, but she also felt satisfied. Now the aliens would know how it felt to lose innocent people. News of the attack spread quickly through Zephyrian space. For the first time, Zephyrian civilians were afraid. They had thought their technology and their military would protect them from the primitive humans. But humans had shown they would attack anyone, anywhere. Commander Lireley received the news while eating dinner with her officers. The food turned to ash in her mouth as she heard about the destroyed research station. "How many died?" she asked quietly. 2,000, Artemis replied. "Scientists, engineers, their families. The humans killed them all and destroyed all the research." Lireley stood up from the table and walked away. She went to her private room and sat alone in the dark. This was not the kind of war she had trained for. Zephyrians fought with honor and courage, not by murdering innocent people, but humans seemed to have no limits, no lines they would not cross. They fought like they had nothing to lose and everything to gain. For the first time since the war began, Lireley wondered if her people had made a mistake. The humans were not just primitive animals. They were something much more dangerous. They were a species that would do anything to win. As she sat in the darkness, Lireley began to understand the truth. The Zephyrians had superior technology and more experience in war, but humans had something else. They had the willingness to become monsters, if that's what it took to survive. The war was far from over, and it was going to get much worse before it got better. General Kate Sullivan stood in the war room deep under the mountains of Colorado. Around her, dozens of screens showed battles happening across the galaxy. Red dots marked human losses. Blue dots marked Zephyrian deaths. There were far too many. "Red dots. We're losing," said Admiral Ray Foster, pointing at the main screen. "For every alien ship we destroy, we lose 3 of ours. We can't keep this up much longer." Sullivan studied the battle reports. The numbers looked bad, but numbers did not tell the whole story. She had been a soldier for 30 years and had learned that wars were not won by having better weapons. They were won by being willing to do what the enemy would not do. "The aliens fight like they're dancing," Sullivan said. "Beautiful formations, perfect tactics, honor above all else. They fight the way wars were fought 1,000 years ago." "What do you mean?" Foster asked. "I mean we're going to fight like humans," Sullivan replied. "No rules, no honor, no mercy. We're going to show them what real war looks like." Sullivan's new strategy was simple and terrible. Human ships would no longer try to fight fair battles against superior alien technology. Instead, they would use tricks, traps, and tactics that would make the aliens afraid to fight. Captain Lisa Morgan received her new orders while floating in space near the ruins of a human colony. The aliens had destroyed it completely, killing 50,000 people. Lisa's ship, Earth's Fury, was one of 12 human vessels hiding in the asteroid field nearby. "All ships, listen carefully," Lisa said over the radio. "When the alien patrol, Comes through, we're going to hit them hard and fast. No warnings, no chances to surrender. We kill them all and disappear before reinforcements arrive. Captain, said her second officer, Commander Amy Davis, that's not how space battles are supposed to work. We should challenge them to honorable combat. Honor is for peacetime, Lisa replied coldly. This is war. The Zephyrian patrol consisted of 3 beautiful silver ships that moved through space like dancing birds. They were scanning the asteroid field, looking for signs of human presence. They never saw the attack coming. All 12 human ships opened fire at once from different directions. The aliens' shields, designed to handle attacks from one direction, failed under the crossfire. Within minutes, all 3 Zephyrian ships were destroyed. The humans disappeared back into the asteroids before anyone could respond. This became the new human way of fighting. They hid in asteroid fields, behind planets, and in the dark spaces between stars. They attacked supply convoys, destroyed communication stations, and hit any target they could find. They fought like pirates and terrorists instead of like a proper military. Dr. Amanda Clark made her breakthrough on a Tuesday morning while studying pieces of a destroyed Zephyrian shield generator. She had been working for 18 hours straight, surviving on coffee and determination. That's it, she whispered, staring at her computer screen. I found it. The Zephyrian shields worked by creating a specific energy frequency that pushed away incoming attacks, but every frequency had a weakness. Amanda had found the exact wavelength that would make the shields fail. She immediately called General Sullivan. I can break their shields, she said without saying hello first. I know how to make their ships vulnerable. How? Sullivan asked. We modify our weapons to match their shield frequency, Amanda explained. Instead of bouncing off, our energy beams will go right through like the shields aren't even there. How long to modify our weapons? Sullivan wanted to know. 2 weeks for the first ships, a month for the whole fleet, Amanda said. Do it, Sullivan ordered. And Amanda, keep this secret. If the aliens find out, they'll change their shield frequency. While Amanda worked on the shield problem, human tactics became more and more brutal. Captain Lisa Morgan led a raid on a Zephyrian military academy where young aliens trained to become officers. The academy had no defenses because attacking schools was considered impossible by civilized species. Lisa's ships destroyed the academy and killed 3,000 young Zephyrians who had never fought in a battle. When other alien commanders heard about the attack, many of them could not believe it was real. Commander Lyra Lee Stormwind received the news while meeting with the Zephyrian High Council. The council chamber was a beautiful room with walls made of crystal that showed images of Zephyrian history. Paintings of great battles and noble heroes covered the ceiling. They attacked children, said Council Leader Celestine Starweaver, her voice shaking with anger. Human monsters killed our children. Lyra Lee felt sick. In all her years as a military commander, she had never heard of anyone attacking a military academy. Even the most savage species in the galaxy had rules about protecting young people who were still learning. How do we fight an enemy that has no honor? Asked General Orion Nightblade. They attack civilians. They use suicide tactics. They hide, like cowards instead of fighting properly. We fight them the same way, Lyra Lee said quietly. The council chamber became silent. Everyone stared at her in shock. You cannot be serious, Celestine said. We are Zephyrians. We have honor. We have standards. We do not fight like animals. Then we will lose, Lyra Lee replied. The humans have shown us what they are willing to do. If we keep fighting with honor, while they fight without limits, they will destroy us completely. But Lyra Lee was overruled. The Zephyrian High Council refused to abandon their principles. They would continue to fight with honor, even if it meant losing the war. Meanwhile, Amanda Clark's weapon modifications were ready. The first test came during a battle near the Vega system. A Zephyrian fleet of 20 ships faced off against 12 human vessels. The aliens expected an easy victory. The humans opened fire, and their energy beams went straight through the Zephyrian shields as if they did not exist. Alien ships exploded one after another as their crews realized their defenses were useless. Only 3 Zephyrian ships escaped the battle. The news of the shield failure spread panic through the alien fleet. Their greatest advantage was gone, but humans were not finished. General Sullivan had been planning something much worse than just breaking alien shields. She had been working on a weapon that would end the war quickly and terribly. The weapon was called a planet cracker. It was a massive bomb that could destabilize the core of a planet, causing earthquakes and volcanic eruptions that would kill everyone on the surface. "We're going to use it on Kepler 438b, Sullivan announced at a secret meeting. "It's a Zephyrian military world with 12 billion people." Some of the officers looked horrified. "General, that's genocide," said Admiral Foster. "We'd be killing billions of innocent people." "They started this war," Sullivan said coldly. "They destroyed our research stations and killed our people. Now we end it our way." The planet cracker was loaded onto a special ship and sent toward Kepler 438b. The Zephyrians tried to stop it, but human escort ships fought savagely to protect the weapon. They succeeded. When the planet cracker reached Kepler 438b, it dove deep into the planet's core before exploding. The entire world shook apart within hours. 12 billion Zephyrians died as their planet tore itself to pieces. News of the planet's destruction reached every corner of the galaxy. Other alien species, who had been watching the war, suddenly became afraid of humans. A species that would destroy an entire world was too dangerous to fight. Commander Lorelei Stormwind watched the recordings of Kepler 438b's destruction from her flagship. She watched 12 billion of her people die in a few hours. The beautiful world where she had been born was now nothing but floating rocks and dust. For the first time in her life, Lorelei felt true fear. Not fear of death in battle, but fear of what humans were capable of doing. They had crossed a line that no civilized species had ever crossed. The humans had answered the Zephyrian challenge for war, but their answer was so brutal and terrible that even their enemies were beginning to wonder if the war should continue. The galaxy was learning what humans became when they were pushed too far, and the lesson was more terrifying than anyone had imagined. The war had been going on for 2 years now. What had started as a conflict between humans and Zephyrians had become something much worse. The galaxy watched in horror as both species fought with increasing brutality. Dr. Amanda Clark walked through the corridors of the military prison on New Sparta, humanity's most secure fortress world. She carried a datapad with questions for the Zephyrian prisoners. Her job was to learn everything she could about alien technology and military plans. The prison was deep underground, carved into solid rock. The air was cold and the lights were dim. Human guards with weapons watched every door. This place was built to hold the most dangerous enemies of humanity. Amanda stopped outside cell number 7. Inside was Commander Lorelei Stormwind, the highest-ranking Zephyrian ever captured. Lorelei had been taken prisoner 3 weeks ago when her flagship was destroyed during a failed attack on a human supply convoy. "Good morning, Commander," Amanda said as she entered the cell. Lorelei sat on a simple metal bed, still wearing her torn uniform. Even as a prisoner, she looked elegant and proud. Her silver hair was dirty and her face was thin from not eating enough, but her eyes still burned with intelligence and anger. "Dr. Clark," Lorelei replied. "Come to ask more questions about my people's weaknesses?" Amanda sat down on the only chair in the cell. Over the past weeks, these conversations had become the most interesting part of her day. Lorelei was not like other prisoners. She was smart, educated, and willing to talk about complex ideas. "I want to understand something," Amanda said. "Your people started this war. You attacked our research stations and killed innocent civilians, but now you act like we're the monsters. Why?" Lorelei was quiet for a long moment. "You are right that we started the shooting," she finally said. "But we did not start this kind of war. When we attacked your stations, we gave warnings first. We tried to let people evacuate. You humans attack without warning and kill everyone. Your warnings gave people 5 minutes to escape," Amanda replied angrily. "That wasn't enough time to save anyone." "It was more time than you gave the children at our military academy," Lorelei said quietly. Amanda felt a stab of guilt. She had helped plan that attack. At the time, it had seemed necessary. Now, talking to Lorelei, she wondered if they had gone too far. "This is war," Amanda said, but her voice was not as strong as before. "In war, people die. Yes, people die in war. Lyralay agreed. But there are supposed to be limits, rules that separate civilized beings from savage animals. You humans seem to have no limits at all. Meanwhile, on the bridge of Earth's Fury, Captain Lisa Morgan received orders that made her hands shake. She read the message 3 times to make sure she understood it correctly. "Captain?" asked Commander Amy Davis. "What are the new orders?" Lisa looked up at her second officer. Amy was young, maybe 25 years old. She had joined the military to explore space and protect Earth. She had not signed up to become a killer of planets. "We're going to destroy Zephyria Prime," Lisa said slowly. "The alien homeworld. All of it." Amy's face went pale. "Captain, that's their home planet. There are over 40 billion people there. Most of them are civilians." "I know," Lisa replied, "but those are our orders. High Command wants to end this war quickly. They think destroying the Zephyrian homeworld will make the aliens surrender." 40 billion people, Amy whispered. "That's more people than live on Earth." Lisa understood how Amy felt. She felt the same way. But they were soldiers, and soldiers followed orders, even orders that made them sick to think about. "Get the ship ready," Lisa commanded. "We launch the planet crackers in 6 hours." Back in the prison, Amanda continued her conversation with Lyralay. They had moved beyond military questions and were talking about philosophy and ethics. Amanda found herself actually looking forward to these talks. "Tell me about your homeworld," Amanda said. "What was it like before the war?" Lyralay's eyes became soft for the first time since Amanda had known her. "Zephyria Prime is beautiful beyond your imagination. Cities that float in the clouds, forests where the trees sing in the wind, oceans that glow blue at night. My people have lived there for 50,000 years. "It sounds wonderful," Amanda said. "And she meant it. "It is," Lyralay replied. "Or it was. I hear your people are planning to destroy it." Amanda felt her stomach twist. She had not been told about the attack on Zephyria Prime, but she was not surprised. The war had escalated beyond all reason. Each side tried to hurt the other more than they had been hurt. "If we destroy your home world, will your people surrender?" Amanda asked. "Some will," Lyralay said sadly. "But others will fight even harder. You cannot kill an entire species, Dr. Clark. No matter how many planets you destroy, some of us will survive, and those survivors will spend the rest of their lives hunting humans across the galaxy." Amanda realized that Lyralay was right. Even if humans won this war, they would make enemies of any aliens who survived. Humanity would never be safe again. "There has to be another way," Amanda said. "Some way to end this without destroying everything." "I thought so too once," Lyralay replied. "But your people and mine have gone too far. We have done things that cannot be forgiven. Too much blood has been spilled for peace to be possible now." That night, Amanda could not sleep. She kept thinking about what Lyralay had said. The war had changed everyone involved. Humans had become the kind of species they used to fear in their nightmares. They destroyed planets and killed billions without hesitation. Amanda got up and walked to her computer. She began writing a report that she knew would make her superiors angry. She wrote about the conversations with Lyralay and what she had learned, about Zephyrian culture. She wrote about the cost of the war, not just in ships and soldiers, but in humanity's soul. In her cell, Lyralay was also awake. She was thinking about her closest friend, Artemis Moon Whisper, who was in the cell next to hers. Artemis had been captured in the same battle and was now being questioned by other human interrogators. Through the thin walls, Lyralay could hear Artemis crying softly. Artemis had always been the gentler of the two friends. The war had been harder on her than on Lyralay. Seeing so much death and destruction had broken something inside Artemis that might never heal. "Artemis," Lyralay whispered through the wall. "Are you all right?" "I keep having dreams," Artemis whispered back. "Dreams about home, about the forests and the singing trees. But in my dreams, everything is burning." Lyralay closed her eyes. She had the same dreams. Dreams of beautiful Zephyria Prime turning to ash and fire. Dreams of her people dying while she sat helpless in a human prison. On the bridge of Earth's Fury, Captain Lisa Morgan watched the stars and tried not to think about what she was about to do. In a few hours, she would launch weapons that would kill more people than had ever died in any single attack in human history. She told herself it was necessary. She told herself it would end the war and save human lives. But deep down, she knew the truth. She was about to become the biggest mass murderer in the history of the galaxy. "Captain," Commander Amy Davis said quietly, "do you ever wonder what we've become?" Lisa looked at her young officer. Amy's eyes were sad and tired. The war had aged her beyond her years. "We've become what we needed to become to survive," Lisa replied. "Nothing more, nothing less." "But is survival worth this?" Amy asked. "Is it worth becoming monsters?" Lisa did not answer. She could not answer, because she was not sure anymore if survival was worth the price they were paying for it. The countdown to the destruction of Zephyria Prime continued, and with each passing hour, both species moved further away from any hope of peace or redemption. Captain Lisa Morgan stood on the bridge of Earth's Fury, watching the planet Zephyria Prime grow larger on the main screen. The beautiful blue and green world was home to 40 billion Zephyrians. In 1 hour, it would be nothing but dust and rocks floating in space. Around Zephyria Prime, the human attack fleet had taken position. 50 warships carrying planet cracker weapons waited for Lisa's signal. The aliens had sent every ship they could find to defend their home world. But it was not enough. The human fleet was too strong. "All ships report ready, Captain," said Commander Amy Davis. Her voice was quiet and sad. "We can begin the bombardment at any time." Lisa looked at the planet one more time. Even from space, she could see it was beautiful. White clouds swirled over blue oceans. The night side sparkled with the lights of billions of homes where families were probably having dinner or putting their children to bed. "Captain," Amy said again, "General Sullivan is asking for confirmation. Should we proceed?" Lisa opened her mouth to give the order that would end the war, but the words would not come out. Something was wrong. This felt different from all the other battles and attacks. This felt like the moment when humanity would cross a line and never be able to come back. Meanwhile, in the prison on New Sparta, Dr. Amanda Clark was running through the corridors as fast as she could. She had made a decision that would probably get her arrested or shot, but she did not care anymore. She reached Lyrale's cell and entered without knocking. The Zephyrian commander looked up in surprise. "Dr. Clark, what is happening? You look upset." "They're going to destroy your homeworld," Amanda said, breathing hard. "Right now. 40 billion people are going to die in the next hour." Lyrale's face went completely white. She sat down heavily on her bed and stared at the floor. "My family lives there," Lyrale whispered. "My parents, my sister, my nieces and nephews. Everyone I have ever loved." Amanda felt tears running down her cheeks. "I can't let this happen. We have to stop it somehow." "How?" Lyrale asked. "I am a prisoner, and you are just one person. What can we do against entire fleets?" "We can tell the truth," Amanda said. She pulled out a small recording device. "We can tell both sides what this war has really cost. Maybe if people understand what we've become, they'll want to stop." Lyrale looked at the device, then at Amanda. "You would risk your life to save my people, even after everything that has happened." "This isn't about your people or my people anymore," Amanda replied. "This is about saving whatever is left of civilization in this galaxy." In her cell next door, Artemis Moonwhisper had heard everything. She pressed her face against the bars and spoke to them through the wall. "I will help," Artemis said. "If there is any chance to stop this madness, I will take it." Amanda quickly activated her security codes to unlock the prison cells. Alarms began ringing immediately, but she ignored them. She had maybe 10 minutes before security guards arrived. "To stop them, what do we say?" Lyrale asked as Amanda set up the recording equipment. "We tell them what war really costs," Amanda replied. "Not just in ships and soldiers, but in souls." Back in space, Lisa Morgan was still staring at Zephyria Prime. Her finger was on the button that would begin the bombardment, but she could not make herself press it. "Captain?" Amy asked again. "General Sullivan is getting angry. She wants to know why we haven't started the attack." "Tell her we're having technical problems," Lisa said. "Buy me a few more minutes." Lisa did not know why she was hesitating. She had killed plenty of aliens before. She had destroyed ships and stations and even smaller planets. But something about this felt different. This felt final. Suddenly, every screen in the human fleet began showing the same image. Dr. Amanda Clark appeared, standing next to Commander Lyrelei Stormwind in what looked like a prison cell. "This is Dr. Amanda Clark of the human military," Amanda said, looking directly into the camera. "I am speaking to all human and Zephyrian forces currently engaged in combat. What you are about to hear may save both our species." On the bridge of Earth's Fury, Amy gasped. "Captain, how is this possible? That transmission is being broadcast on all frequencies." Lisa shushed her and listened to what Amanda was saying. 2 years ago, this war began because of fear and pride, Amanda continued. The Zephyrians feared losing their control of space. Humans feared being enslaved by a superior species. Both sides made mistakes. Both sides committed terrible acts. The camera turned to show Lyrelei, who looked directly at the viewers with her piercing blue eyes. "I am Commander Lyrelei Stormwind," she said. "I started this war by attacking human civilians. I thought humans were primitive animals who would submit to our authority. I was wrong. Humans are not animals. They are something much more dangerous. They are a species with no limits to how far they will go to survive." Amanda stepped back into view. "In the past 2 years, both sides have become monsters. We have destroyed planets, killed billions of innocent people, and abandoned every principle that makes us civilized. We have become the very thing we feared our enemies were." In the Zephyrian fleet, defending their home world, many commanders were watching the broadcast with shock. They had never heard their own leader admit to making mistakes. "Right now," Amanda continued, "human forces are preparing to destroy Zephyria Prime, killing 40 billion innocent people. If this happens, any hope for peace will die with them. The survivors will spend the rest of their lives seeking revenge. This war will never end." Lyrelei spoke again. "But it does not have to be this way. Dr. Clark has shown me that some humans still remember what it means to be civilized, just as I hope some of my people still remember what it means to have honor." "We are not asking you to trust each other," Amanda said. "Trust is impossible after what we have done. We are asking you to fear each other enough to stop fighting. Because if this war continues, both species will be destroyed." The broadcast continued for several more minutes. Amanda and Lyrelei took turns explaining what they had learned about each other's species. They talked about the cost of the war and the price of victory. They spoke about the choice between survival and civilization. When the broadcast ended, space was very quiet. On dozens of ships in both fleets, commanders and soldiers were thinking about what they had heard. On Earth's Fury, Captain Lisa Morgan finally took her finger off the weapon controls. "All ships, hold position," she announced. "Do not fire until further orders." "Captain," Amy said with relief, "are you calling off the attack?" "I'm thinking," Lisa replied. "For the first time in 2 years, I'm actually thinking instead of just reacting." General Sullivan's voice crackled over the radio, full of anger. "Morgan, what are you doing? Fire those weapons immediately!" Lisa looked at the planet below, then at her crew. These people trusted her to make the right decision. The question was, what was the right decision? "General," Lisa said slowly, "I respectfully request permission to delay the bombardment for 24 hours. I think we need to consider what Dr. Clark said." "You will fire those weapons now, or I will have you arrested for treason," Sullivan shouted. Lisa took a deep breath. She had been a good soldier for her entire adult life. She had followed orders, even when they made her sick. But sometimes, being a good soldier meant refusing to follow bad orders. "No," Lisa said simply. "I won't do it." What happened next shocked everyone. Instead of firing on the planet, Lisa turned her weapons on the other human ships carrying planet crackers. The Earth's Fury opened fire on its own allies, destroying the weapons that would have killed 40 billion people. "All ships, this is Captain Morgan," Lisa announced. "I am preventing the destruction of Zephyria Prime. Any ship that tries to attack the planet will have to go through me first. Some human ships tried to stop her, but others joined her rebellion." Within an hour, half the human fleet was fighting the other half. The attack on Zephyria Prime failed as humans fought each other instead of the aliens. When the fighting stopped, Lisa found herself under arrest. But the planet was still intact, and the war had stopped. It took 6 months of difficult negotiations, but eventually both sides agreed to end the fighting. The peace treaty was unlike any document ever written. It was not based on friendship or trust, but on mutual fear and respect for each other's capacity for destruction. The treaty created buffer zones between human and Zephyrian space. Both species agreed to limits on their military forces. Most importantly, they established communication protocols to prevent future misunderstandings from leading to war. Dr. Amanda Clark and Commander Lyra Leigh Stormwind became the first joint human-Zephyrian diplomatic team. Their job was to make sure the peace lasted by helping both species understand each other. "Do you think it will work?" Lyra Leigh asked Amanda as they watched the treaty signing ceremony. "I don't know," Amanda replied honestly. "But I know what happens if it doesn't work. We've both seen how far our people will go when they're afraid. Maybe that fear will keep the peace better than friendship ever could." The war was over, but its effects would last forever. Humanity had proven to the galaxy that they were capable of anything when threatened. Other alien species now treated humans with a mixture of respect and terror. Captain Lisa Morgan was court-martialed for disobeying orders, but she was quietly pardoned a year later when the benefits of peace became clear. She returned to her first love,